That's rude. I'm about to be reading one of my most anticipated read of 2025. I feel like a lot of books that I've been dying to read are finally coming out. So we're going to dedicate this first reading vlog of fall because September 1st is fall. The first book I'm going to be reading is Katabasis by R F Kuang. I have read all of the books, the other 5, and I've enjoyed all of them, and I'm dying to read this. I love dark academia. I did do a whole video about the ones I have read, the good and bad, and you can make your own decision, but you have a good list of recommendations. So I love the genre in general, and I love her, so perfect. Once I've heard the premise, I knew I needed it because the main character basically goes to hell to save her advisor so she can actually graduate and have a job afterwards, and she goes there with her rival. I'm going to go into it with an open mind. I unfortunately heard a lot of reviews. Didn't want to. I don't like hearing reviews before I read a book, unless it's like to give me recommendations about a certain genre that I like, you know? But I was going to read her book no matter what, and unfortunately, a lot of people that I've seen that got the arc, which give me instead, didn't like it. And the reasoning, I'm trying to stay polite here. I feel like the reasoning didn't really make sense to me. I, again, will go into this book open mind to see if I agree or not, but I don't think I will, because a lot of people were saying how you need to basically have a PhD to understand this book and how you have to read this reading list before reading it. And I don't think it's going to be the case. So again, I will wait. I'll probably try to read like the first half before I discuss this, but the author is part of academia, right? Doesn't she have like a PhD or she's working on it? Yeah, she went to Cambridge, she went to Oxford, and she's currently studying her PhD at Yale. So like, of course it's going to be academic with someone in academia, especially like the character is going to Cambridge. I feel like dark academia is going to contain academia, right? Plus a murder. That's usually what it is. She's writing what she knows. And like, anyway, since I don't know how long it's going to take me because it's like 550 pages, which I didn't even mention, but look how gorgeous this edition is. I don't like hardcovers, but I didn't want to wait, and it is pretty. So since, again, I don't know how long this is going to take me, could be 3 days, could be a whole week, depending on how dense it is. I will mention quickly that afterwards I'm pivoting towards cozy fantasy, witchy ones, because I have a pile that I want to read, and whichever ones I don't read this week, I'll continue, I think, next week, because again, I'm craving witchy, nice things. The last books I have been finishing in August were really dark, and I need something cute and fun, cozy. It's getting cold, so I will take it. So I do really want to read this one, A Witch's Guide to Magical Innkeeping, which I read the other book by the author, and it was definitely a cozy fantasy. And then I have this one, The Late Night Witches, which sounds like it's also going to be a cozy fantasy. Again, I have read another book by the author, so these are probably the next 2 I'll be reading, so I'm keeping them just in case, depending on how this one goes. But you never know. It could take me 3 days, you know? I'm going to get to work right now because I'm dying to know if I agree or not with the reviews I've seen. And I will try to edit it out as much as possible, but I have this really annoying little cough. Really, really annoying. I had health issues. That's why last month I couldn't post the videos I was planning for like 3 weeks because, really long story short, last year found out I have celiac. Then I still wasn't feeling good and found out iron deficiency. And through taking supplements, I found out that I had silent reflux, which that sounds in my head like something like an older man that eats a lot of pizza has, you know? But I am wrong. Clearly, I woke up one day, could not speak, and my throat was hurting, and like I couldn't stop coughing. Like, just, you can hear my voice right now, it's straining. I would just breathe and start coughing, and it's still lingering. Like, it's been 3 weeks. I've been 2 weeks on PPI, and I'm still like scratchy throat. So like I said, I'm going to try to edit that out as much as possible. It might affect my uploads for the upcoming weeks, but I think I'm going to mostly be okay. I'm just going to be sipping my ginger tea and hope for the best. So yeah, that explains it, but that's why I was gone for 3 weeks. Sorry, but hopefully that's it though. We'll talk about it later, but yeah, I'm dying. Like, F everything else, okay? I can cough while reading. It's okay. Okay, we need to talk. I am making this update so much later than I had planned because I literally could not put this book down, okay? So I'm past the halfway point, but whatever. I'm at page 325. So I just finished chapter 20, and I'm glad I did because this chapter answers some of those comments I have seen so well. First off, I will say though, do you see all my freaking fingerprints? I hate when the materials of the books show I don't have greasy fingers. Like, why is it? Anyway, gorgeous though. Okay, so some of the comments I have seen were people saying that you need to have a PhD to understand it's really dense and you can't comprehend anything, and that it's condescending. The tone of the author in general is condescending. I've seen that a lot. And all I have to say is, first off, do you know what dark academia is? Because I don't mean this meanly. I just am confused what people are expecting. I think that what happened is that R F Kuang has become really popular on social media. And when that happens, sure, it means you sell more books, but also you attract more of the masses and people that are not necessarily familiar with the kind of books that you're writing. And the new people are going to either discover a new genre they love or something that they don't like. And it's just in general more hit and miss. Like, same thing when I try new genres, some books just don't work as well for me. And it happens more often than if I stick to things that I know I will love. That's just how it is. But I feel like people are confusing condescending with actually dark academia, or just complaining that it's dense when academia. That's literally the whole point. And also people saying that it's a bad book is frustrating to me, because a lot of things I've seen them complain about, it's on purpose. I know one thing I complain about is often misogyny, for example, and how there's a difference between a character being sexist or world or the author. And like, I get annoyed when it's clearly the author, because they couldn't imagine a world that is dark without every female character being essayed, that kind of thing. And again, this is a dark academia book, so there's going to be academia content. And dark academia, you're following insufferable know-it-alls, and usually there's a murder. That's what dark academia is. And they will be absolutely obsessed with a certain topic, and they will be willing to go to hell, literally, to make sure that their advisor will be there, because they need to finish their dissertation, they want their job, and they can't do it in this specific case because they're the only person that can do it, and she thinks it's her fault. So that's why she's going to save him. So in this one, the obsession is magic. In If We Were Villains, it's Shakespeare plays. It could be languages. It could be dead languages. Like, it's so common in dark academia, and the condescending tone is just academia. Academia is condescending. That is the point. Like, it's a social commentary too. And like I mentioned in the intro, the author is part of academia. She's writing what she knows. And people saying that it's all in her books, like every single one. Yes, because they're all The Puppy War, school. Babel, school. And then this one, Katabasis, school. And then Yellow Face is literature world. Literary world. Snobbish. That's the commentary. It's on purpose. And I've seen people say that there's also not a lot of depth in the character. And again, the chapter I just finished, chapter 20, it's her backstory. Like, you get all the depth. That's literally the point. And I've also seen people say, like, the main character, she's Chinese, but she doesn't talk about it. And this is what I want to talk about it. And again, I'm going to keep this vague. It's not a spoiler whatsoever. It's, again, just a commentary on the characterization. And it's, again, what I mean by people just don't understand that it's on purpose. Alice, the main female character, thinks that she's above all of these things. She thinks that she's above being a woman. She doesn't need feminists. She looks down on feminists. She thinks that, like, sure, she's Chinese, but she's, again, above racism. She thinks that she doesn't need all of these things if she's good enough. And she thinks she's good enough, and she's willing to do everything to be good enough that these things will not affect her. And I feel like it's common for young women to feel like they can, bypass all of these things by just being good or nice or whatever. And then eventually you realize, yeah, that doesn't work. It doesn't work like that. But that's what she is. That's what she thinks. And that's part of what happens in the chapter 20 when you get, her backstory. That's what enrages me now that I've read that part. Did you guys not read the book? Because it's very clear in my opinion. Like, again, maybe later on during the book, I can confirm on the screen, she'll go into more details, because it's barely, like, it's not really mentioned that she's Chinese. Like, she knows Chinese. That's basically what we know so far. So, like, I understand people maybe, I don't know how to word that properly, but it goes back to, once again, it's on purpose. Like, the character thinks that she is above being a person of color, because she thinks that, again, if she's good enough, it's not going to affect her. And I think that people complain about her characters a lot because they're complex female characters. Again, Babel is a male character, but again, in general, she writes unlikable, but they're mostly just complex female characters. You're not meant to necessarily like them. Like, she does horrible stuff. Like, she may have killed her professor. And that's the point. Again, it makes for such interesting stories. I love complex female characters. And people saying that it's too dense, like, even if you, again, I've explained the condescending part, I don't think it's too complex. It is, again, academia, but I think the author explains it enough that you will understand what's going on. And if you don't, everyone is walking around with one of these in their pocket 24/7. You can look it up. But even if you don't, it's not going to prevent you from understanding, continuing, enjoying the story. I do think that the author explains it enough, which, like, she must be so annoyed because people are either complaining that she over-explains everything and now they're complaining that it's too complex. Which one is it? And even the character doesn't claim to understand everything. Like, she's doing her research and she doesn't understand everything. She mentions also that she's really not good at math. So, like, why are you so scared of the math? Like, it's not going to affect your comprehension whatsoever. And if you want to understand more, obviously you can look it up. Like, I don't know, Socrates, like, I don't know what the hell he has said, but she mentions him. But the book is not math, don't be scared. It's more like logic. And again, she explains it, and if you want to look it up more because you find it interesting, you can. And, like, if you want to read Dante's Inferno beforehand, I'm sure you'll get more out of the story if you do, but you don't need to. I didn't. So yeah, I think people are forgetting that there's context. The character is that way on purpose. And of course, there's going to be academia. So you're going to have complex, dense portions. I think they're explained well enough. And the condescending is, again, the author is literally living her life in that element. Like, she's just showing what it is. And I don't know if it's because I love school, okay? I went to university. I love it. I'm still, reading a lot on nonfiction because, again, I love it. But I also know I love dark academia books. I've read a ton. They were not all good, or I should say I haven't enjoyed all of them. Some of them were actually not good. And some people might just be learning that they don't enjoy dark academia. It doesn't mean it's a bad book. Also, I'm still not done with the book. Clearly, I have like more than 200 pages left. And I still don't understand why people are calling her books romance. Again, I have read The Popular and people are calling it romantasy, which makes me want to... It's not. I don't know how the author feels about it. I don't want to know. Like, I don't want to know authors. Okay, I know some people like watch their interviews and everything. I don't want to know because I don't want it to affect my enjoyment unless they do something problematic. Then but the little bits I have seen against my will, she seems lovely. But I don't know how she feels about people calling her books romantasy because I would want to just scream. There might be sometimes a love interest, but it doesn't mean it's a romantasy. Like, maybe that's why people go into it expecting a romantasy and then they get dense academia and they're like, what is this? Either way, so far I can guarantee you it's not a romance. Like, I know like people love enemies to lovers, myself included, but just because they're hating each other at the moment and competing for the attention, of that teacher, both of them, well, before the book starts, doesn't mean that there's going to be spicy scenes. Like, there's no spicy scenes. I don't think she's never written a spicy scene. No. So yeah, please stop calling it romantasy. That might just be reassuring to some people hearing that right now because no. I think that's all I wanted to say about the critiques. And in terms of post-its, I like her writing, okay? I think it's funny that, for example, it was page 1, not a spoiler. It was a terrible, gruesome accident that killed Professor Jacob Grimes, and from a certain point of view, it was her fault. And so, for reasons of both moral obligation and self-interest, she has to go and save him. I think it's well written. It's witty. I like it. Whatever. What else can I talk about? I don't want to spoil anything, obviously. I remember what I wanted to say. There's a chapter talking about Canada. And like, this is what I mean. She's so obsessed. Like, obviously she's willing to go to hell because she wants that diploma from Cambridge. So like, again, of course she's going to be snobbish. That's like her literal obsession. And she's saying how sometimes people will leave and someone left Cambridge for Canada. She's like, what is wrong with you? What is even in Canada? And she's saying how, did Canada even have university? Or did everyone just ski and eat maple syrup and run away from bears all year round? Listen, yes, we have universities. Not everyone skis. We do eat maple syrup though. I think it's more of an East Coast thing. Quebec, absolutely. We have cabane à sucre, right? The places where they make it. And then you can go there and eat the greasiest, sweetest food of your life and mostly enjoy it. And the bears, I've never had to run away from one, but I have seen some in my yard. The other post-its, I don't want to mention them because it's about the story and I want you to enjoy it. I'm really careful with my spoilers. Now I'm curious if the last 225 pages will contradict everything I've said, but I went into it, I was so stressed, okay? I don't know if it showed in the intro, but like I was so stressed because everyone made it seem like it was going to be like the most complicated book ever, and that it was so dense and like not enjoyable, and all I saw was a complex female character and it's not romantasy. And yeah, I don't want this to sound condescending, which wouldn't that be funny, talking about a book that is condescending by being condescending yourself, but I feel like it probably ties into the whole discussion that people have had online about anti-intellectualism, which I knew that people being, what was the word? Is it illiterate? Like, I heard a definition the other day and I was like, oh, that makes a lot more sense, because I kept hearing those stats of like 50% of people can't read. Is it 54% of people can't read past like a 6th grade level? Turns out that means that they can read obviously the words, but they don't comprehend anything that is more complex. So like any kind of metaphors or whatever, like it will go above their head. So they'll read literally what they're reading. That's how they're understanding it. And I feel like that probably applies to this book. Part of me can't help but feel a bit bitter. It's not the right word, but annoyed that people are getting arcs when they're like, I didn't like Babel, but I wanted to read that one, when it's also dark academia. And like they also complained that they also couldn't finish it because it wasn't a romantasy. That word stuck with me. But like, yeah, it just annoys me because how it's okay if an author isn't for you. Like there are really popular authors that just don't work for me. That's okay. And like, I don't want it to sound like, well, these books are too complex for you. That's not what I'm saying. They're just not your thing. And that's fine too. Anyway, on that note, I am going to go finish that book because I need to know if anything I'm reading is going to contradict anything else. And I need to know how it ends because, man, are they struggling. That's all I'm going to say. Oh my gosh. I do not want to go to hell. I finished it. It was really good. I will try to keep this short and sweet, okay? Because I'm aware that my last clip was very long and ranty, but like, come on, like these people deserved it. It needed to come out, okay? I will say, I'm gonna give it 5-star. It might be a rounded up to a 5. It doesn't really matter because ultimately, yes, because people annoyed me previously, but also it is one of the best books I have read this year. And it hasn't been my best reading year, but I just finished 2 5-star books. So like, we're just continuing and I'm happy with it. I still stand behind everything I said in that right. I'm not going back to it. I was right, okay? That's all I'm going to say. And if anything, this might be the part that is a bit too far for some people, but it's okay. I think in general, she writes really dark books, right? We've already established that. Very much my thing. But also, if anything, this one feels a little bit like, oh, we're going on an adventure. Yes, it's in hell. Nobody becomes this kind of person willing to go to hell unless they have some specific trauma. So like, again, it is a dark book, but it felt fun. Hopefully some of you will agree with me, but I think it's a good way to start with her. Obviously, there are some bits that are dense, but ultimately, that's how she writes in general. So that's totally fine. I'm okay with it. So I will give it 5-star. I had a lot of fun. I highly recommend it. Ignore everyone else, okay? If you like dark academia, if you like her books in general, you're gonna like this. Like, sometimes it feels like people do things for views. Like, obviously not every time. I'm sure some people definitely felt like that. Blah, blah, blah. I hate having to do these things. I don't have to. Why am I doing it? Controversy brings views. That's all there is to it. So this was awesome. I do recommend it. I cannot wait to start my next one, the pink one. That's the one I'm doing. I did want to give a quick update on movie TV shows because it's been a while, and I did finish Life After Life, which is a TV show inspired by a book that I have read and enjoyed, Time Loop. This one is historical fiction, which not really my thing, definitely over World War II. It's a little bit included, but I still wanted to mention it because I had enjoyed the book. I think if anything, I like the TV show even more. There's something about it that feels almost sad, but like in a comforting way. It's very like centered around her life. Basically, this woman relives her life multiple times. Some of them are kind of traumatic. Again, warning. Some of them are very short. but it's a bit different from other ones that I have read. I did enjoy it. Again, it is a little bit World War II, but not fully. It's definitely more about like family and like again, sad, comforting. That's the best way to describe it. And as far as I'm currently watching, The Gilded Age, for some reason decided to give it a shot because I had heard good things, and it feels cozy. It feels cozy. Is it actually cozy? Probably not. But I like that the drama ends quickly. Like, there's going to be some kind of conflicts, but like an episode or two and we're done, which feels really nice and not stressful, which is the mood I'm currently in. That's why we're going for the cozy pink witchy book. And Claudia is yelling at my door. I just need a shower, some food, and then I can start watching Gilded Age. I'm still at season 1. I need a break after this, okay? As much as I'm like, it was a fun adventure, it was still dark. And tomorrow I'm going to start the next one. But I'm having a great time, okay? That's all that matters. Now I'm going to go fight for my life because she really doesn't like closed doors. Should I be scared for my life? She's waiting for me. I finally made it far enough into the book to be able to tell you what it is about. I knew it was like cozy fantasy and I knew it was witchy found family vibes, but it's what I needed right now. After Katabasis, I could tell I was going to not necessarily be in a reading slump, but like when you read something so good, like a hangover, there you go, the book Hangover. So the main female character, the book starts, she's like 15 and suddenly her aunt, who's basically her only family because her parents were just not there, she dies and she is the strongest witch that has existed in a while. So she gets a suggestion by someone that maybe she shouldn't have listened to, that is stuck in the body of a fox, to bring her back to life. And by doing that, she is punished and they take away her magic. So the book actually starts 15 years later. She's like 30, and I do prefer following like older female characters. I feel like I'm getting to a point where I can only read so many 18-year-old girl with special eye color and special hair color and skinny, but like so much stronger than everyone else. So all of this to say, we're 15 years later and she is running this inn with the aunt that came back to life, and the fox is still there. It's basically a magical inn that everyone that is feeling lost in life finds their way to, hence the whole family, found family vibes. And there is a romance. There's this man, this grumpy man. I don't think this is like a grumpy sunshine, because she's also obviously sad about the whole situation, but definitely not as grumpy as he is in life in general. I do have to say it's nice to have a very inclusive kind of story if you like following more diverse characters. Like the aunt has a clubfoot, for example. There is also some representation for autism, basically the little sister of the grumpy man. So that's just very hard to describe that. Like basically the book feels like a warm hug, a hot cup of tea, and like, I mean, you can see some on the cover. So far I'm enjoying it. I'm not sure how these two are going to end up together because the vibes right now, but I hope she gets her magic back. This is where I'm at right now. I'm just hoping that it's going to come back to her. There might be a spell to bring it back. Will she get it though? She's banned from, you know, the guild because there's this one man who is on a power trip that decided that nobody as strong as him could exist. So he's very happy about the fact that she got her magic taken away, but I'm assuming she's gonna get it back. So rooting for her, rooting for the romance, rooting for everyone. Otherwise, the cats are very chill right now. It's been so windy and like the fall weather is coming for sure. So everyone is very chill. Look at Charlie. See, I only had to call them. And Chunky, Claudia. Hi, princess. You're so pretty. You're so pretty. You're way too close, but you're so pretty. I match actually the book. Look at us. But yeah, we're just chilling. They had abandoned me except for Charlie, but obviously they hear me, and Chunky probably just wants more FOOD. Yeah, that's all you want. You're only using me because I can open the cans. Is that what it is? Don't pretend. Don't look shocked. I know. You're such a good boy. You can't tell, but he has such thick
fur. You're so cozy. Oh, he's insulted. Okay.
He's living his best life right now. Slow-mo. I wasn't calling you fat. You just look like a proper cat. He's like the best cuddler because of that. Nope. Camera shy today. Anyway, I'm gonna finish that book. I am going through it very slowly. Like, it took me 2 days to get to the halfway point, and it's only like 300 pages. But again, I read Katabasis in like 3 days, so I need to chill a little bit. I finished the cozy fantasy, and it was very cute. I did like the ending. I will say I'm not huge on romance, and this feels a little sickly sweet for me personally. Again, I've mentioned in the past, I'm definitely into very dark books, and I felt a little bit in a not reading slump, but like after finished Katabasis, nothing is really gonna do it for me. But this was perfect as an in-between palette cleanser. Like I said, if you have enjoyed book 1, you're most likely gonna really enjoy it. So I will be running it down to 3, but don't think this as a bad review. I just rate my books based on my enjoyment, and this feels, I would actually put that in the category of what I call my like children's books for adult. Eventually I'll actually choose a term that doesn't sound like, does it sound rude? Sometimes I'm not sure, because English is my second language, and at this point I am bilingual, but there are certain things that I feel like might sound mean, but it's not. But it's the best way to describe it. Like, it's overly sickly sweet. It's definitely like found family vibes, love story, and like it never really feels high stakes, even though it is, obviously, but it doesn't really feel like, oh, nobody's gonna, you know, die horribly or something. So it was cute. I think this was the perfect read for me right now, and if you're looking for a cute, cozy fantasy for the fall, again, this is a new release. I would think that this is worth it if, once again, you have enjoyed her other book. But yeah, 1 5-star, 1 3-star, 3.5. I had a good week. Let me know if you have read any of these two, because again, I have been really trying to catch up to newer releases. So if you have any thoughts to share, if you've tried them, again, with this one, The Controversy, which I feel like ever since I finished it, I'm like, what controversy? Like, people are exaggerating. Sometimes it feels like it's for views. And like, I understand controversy gets the views, but sometimes it's a bit too much for me. Anyway, I'll put more videos on the screen that I recommend you check out, and I will see you in my next video. Hopefully we can keep finding more 5-star. I feel like so far, this year was really hit and miss. It was rough at times, but lately I've been finding a lot of 5 stars, and we need to keep going in that direction. Yeah, okay.